Karen O from KarenOBeauty, and today I have a treat for you. We're going to learn how to do this deep dark smoky eye. I think this look is great for any special occasion, whether it's a wedding, a birthday, or just simply a night out on the town. If you want to see how to do this deep dark smoky eye, keep on watching. And without further ado, let's move on to the tutorial. Okay, so full disclaimer here. This look is not for the faint of heart. This takes some time. There's tons of blending involved and you need a lot of brushes. Make sure you have some time set out so that you can play with the makeup and blend your colors properly. So to start, I'm gonna prime my eyelids, and I'm gonna actually also prime underneath my under eye as well. And the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna use a concealer, and I'm going to use my tried and true Tarte Shape Tape in the color Tan Sand. Basically what I want to do is I want to cancel out my dark circles because we are going to need to blend out the colors, and I don't want my dark circles to affect the overall end result of this. Okay, so now my eyes are all prepped and ready for eyeshadow. Today I'm going to use the Anastasia Soft Glam palette. The reason why I'm using this palette is just because all the colors that I need are pretty much in here. I'm going to start by first taking a blending brush and using the color Tempera and applying that all over my lid. I'm also going to take some of that Tempera and just place it under my brow bone. Now's where the blending starts. Using my first blending brush, and this is a Firma 201 brush, I'm going to dip into the color Orange Soda, tap off the excess, and I'm going to start by blending that into the crease and just above the crease. I'm just going to work that color in and start building up the intensity. As you can see, I'm just using windshield wiper motions. I'm going from side to side, whether it's from the inside of my eye out and back in, but just basically side to side like this. Also, I want to note that you should use a very light hand when applying the eyeshadow because you don't want chunks of deep color deposits in here. It'll make it difficult to blend out. So what I do to ensure that my hand is very light is I hold the brush at the end. That way I can have a very light application of pigmentation. I also want to just extend the color out, and don't worry about how this looks because I'm going to go in with a makeup wipe afterwards and clean up the edges. So I just want to extend the color out as far as possible because we are going to do a nice clean edge. So I think that that's a good start. Now I'm gonna go into I'm gonna use my second blending brush. This is the MAC 217 brush. And back to my palette, I'm gonna use this color here, Burnt Orange. I'm just gonna dip in here, tap off any excess, and I'm gonna apply this just to the crease area of my eye. And again, also still using that light hand to apply the color. And you may see me alternate between brushes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the burnt orange color, and then I'm going to put orange soda on top of it just to ensure that it blends out. So orange soda is working as my transition. That's the color that's going to bind everything together and make it look seamless. Going back with burnt orange. Just continuing to build that color. My eyes are a little hooded, so I want to make sure that I have color in this area as well. Because, you know, if I don't do that, it'll look like I didn't blend anything in. So for me, I extend the color up a little higher than most people, just because I want to make sure that there's that gradation. So if you have difficulty getting into the crease of your eye, if you tilt your head back, it makes it so much easier. Or if you have like rotating mirror or whatnot, if you tilt the mirror up, then it also makes it easier so you don't have to tilt your head back. So I'm just going to adjust my mirror. I'm choosing to use warm tones. You could use cool tones as for your buildup, if that's like what suits your skin tone or what suits your occasion. I personally like warm tones on my skin tone, so that's why I've decided to go this route. But this gradation would work with cool tones as well, with pinks, purples, and whatnot. So I'm going to take some of that burnt orange and just go slightly above my crease, blending it into the orange soda a little bit more. Taking that orange soda brush and just blending. Okay, so I'm liking where that is. I'm going to get, yet again, another blending brush. This one doesn't have a name, but it's a nice fluffy blending brush. Going back into my palette, I'm going to dip into Sienna, which is kind of like this warm, kind of in between the brown and the orange. And I'm going to apply Sienna into my crease. So just tilt my head back and just apply. And this is really a nice fluffy brush because it will deposit the color but also help blend the color with the burnt orange. So I'm going to go back with my MAC 217 into burnt orange and just apply that in. And I'll be doing that with the two colors back and forth just to ensure that it's completely blended. Going into Sienna and just applying that. What's really key is that you have patience with blending. You use a light hand, so just hold the brush at the end and just sweep the color over in a windshield washer motion. And just have fun with it. Like, I mean, makeup is just a lot of fun. So now that I'm really liking where these colors are, I'm just gonna go over with orange soda again, just in the upper portion, just to make sure that there's a nice blend there. I think I'm gonna start with applying some darkness. So I'm gonna use a pointed blender brush. This is my Lise Wattier definition brush. And I'm gonna dip into, I'm actually gonna use this brush and I'm gonna dip into a brown first before I go into it with black. I'm actually gonna dip into Rustic and Cypress Umber. I'm gonna go into both of these. Just tap off any excess. And I'm gonna tilt my head back and apply this only to the crease. And so what you'll see is that because this blending brush is pointed, it'll just get into that crease area. It's very concentrated. And I know what you're probably thinking, like, oh my god, I thought this was a black smoky eye. Why are you adding brown? Well, brown just will add to the gradation. So it almost looks like I'm doing a cut crease of that dark color, but that pointed brush is what's doing it. Now I'm going to take my fluffy brush that I used for the Sienna. I'm going to dip into Sienna very lightly. I'm going to tap off any excess. And I'm just going to apply the Sienna to the edges of that brown, just to ensure that we're all blended in. I'm going to go back in with that brown, combination of the Cypress Umber and Rustic. And you know, right now it looks like nothing. You're just like, what's going on? Don't worry. Don't be scared at this point. It's supposed to look like this. And if at any time if you feel like the lines are too sharp, just go back to your orange soda brush and just apply that towards the edges. Orange soda will help blend everything through. Your transition shade. I'm going to take sienna and brush, tap off excess, and just apply that to the edges. Now comes the scary part. I'm going to use that same definition brush and go back into the palette. I'm going to dip into Noir, which is that deep black. I'm going to tap off my excess. And now I'm going to apply that directly to the crease. So I'm going to tilt my head back and just go back and forth. That's what I like to say. I'm going to tilt my head back and hope for the best. Okay, so it's coming along nicely. I'm going to get some more of that Noir and tap off any excess. Okay, so we are filming on a Saturday afternoon, and I film in my living room, and it appears that my neighbor is mowing his lawn. So I have to apologize if you hear a lawnmower in the background, because, you know, we all gotta get our things done, and it really is like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, so by all means, go ahead and mow your lawn. So I'm gonna go back with my sienna brush. I'm gonna dip into sienna, and I'm just gonna apply that to the edges. And actually at this point, I think I'm gonna use the brush that I had used for burnt orange. I'm gonna dip into burnt orange and apply that to the edges. You'll see it'll start diffusing the color, or diffusing the edges. Really what I want is I want this to look like a gradient. I'm going to go back in with Noir. Tilting my head back again and applying. And I just took burnt orange to diffuse the edges. Okay. So I'm liking where that darkness is going. I'm going to introduce yet again another brush. But what I want to do is I want to apply some sort of base to my eyeshadow, and it's a dark base. So what I'm going to do is use a gel liner as that base. And I'm going to use my Morphe E10 brush. This is a flat eyeshadow brush to apply that gel liner to my lid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this upside down. I'm going to apply this liner to the lash line, I should say, and then I'm going to blend it up. And what this is going to do is this is going to give me that intense black that I want for this smoky eye. So you'll notice that I'm just taking the edge of the brush and running it on my lash line, just because you want to make sure that it's really black there. You don't want any of the skin to show through, because then it'll look like you didn't do your smoky eye properly. And applying gel liner over top a shadow can sometimes be challenging. Don't worry too much about this, because I'm actually going to put shadow on top of this to set it. But what I'm doing right now is I'm using the edge of that brush just to get that crease shape. Get into that crease. So I'm going to flip that same brush over. I'm going to use the side that I didn't apply gel liner with. And I'm going to dip it into Noir, just very tap it in. And I'm going to tap Noir over top the gel liner. Using my definition brush, I'm not going to apply any more color to it, but I am going to sweep through the crease. I'm going to use my MAC 217. I'm going to go into burnt orange, and I'm just going to sweep that along the edges of that black, just to blend out the edge. I'm going to use orange soda and just buff out the outer edge of the gradient. I'm taking my definition brush that I was using Noir with, I'm actually gonna dip it into Cypress Umber and just go through the crease with the Cypress Umber. And I know it looks like a hot mess right now. Don't worry. I'm taking, which brush should I take? I'm gonna take the MAC 217 with no color applied, and I'm just gonna buff that all out. Okay, so just looking at my eyes right now, I am liking the intensity of that black. I am liking how blown out it is. I'm going to use that blending brush that I had used with tempera. I'm just gonna put some tempera on and just put that under my brow again, just because I noticed that it is not there no more, or at least barely visible. So I'll just enhance the brow like that. Okay, so I'm liking where this is right now. I'm gonna go off camera and finish the other eye because I don't think you wanna sit through all of that, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got the second eye complete. I'm in a good place, and I'm gonna try and clean up my under eye and clean up the sides as I had mentioned before. So I'm gonna take a makeup wipe and just using my mirror, I'm going to wipe the edges of the shadow, like so. I also don't know why I put concealer under my eyes to begin with, because the fallout got there. So when you're doing this at home, don't do that. Just conceal your eyelids and then apply the eyeshadow. So I'm looking in my eyes and I made a little bit of a mistake, and I wiped this eye here, looks shorter than this one, and I really wanted them to look like this one. So I'm gonna try and just add some color back here. And then we'll do the wipey again. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the time to tight line my eyes. It's really important to tight line your eyes because you don't want any little bits of white showing through or your skin tone showing through, because you've got this really deep smoky eye and you want the intensity. So I'm gonna tight line my upper eyelids. And I'm just gonna use eyeliner to fill in any sparse areas. And I'm using the Milani Supreme Kohl liner, casual liner in black. I believe that's blackest black, excuse me. And while I'm here, I'm gonna tight line my lower lash line too. And don't worry if that lower lash line is not done neatly, because we're gonna put shadow over top that. Okay. So now that my lower lash line is done, my eyes are watering a little, I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna apply concealer to my under eye, and I'm gonna apply foundation to my entire face. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my under eyes concealed. I've done my base with a foundation. In case you're wondering, I used Tarte Shape Tape in the color Tan Sand for my under eyes. And then for my foundation, I actually mixed Fenty's foundation. It's the color 360, which right now is a little too dark for me. I had bought it last summer and I was really tanned last summer, and it's just too dark. And I mixed it in with Urban Decay, the All Nighter foundation in shade 7.75. So just to give it a little bit of lightness and I'm not coverage, but just kind of like that lasting power. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna apply shadow to my under eyes using the Fenty Contour eyeshadow brush in number 4. I'm going to dip into Cypress Umber and Rustic. I'm gonna top off the excess and I'm gonna run that along my lower lash line. I'm just gonna put that in the corner area of my lower lash line. Kind of just extending. I want it to appear like I'm extending this line down under my eye. So I'm gonna do the same on the second side. Okay. Using that same brush, I'm going to dip into Sienna. I'm going to run that along the center of my lash line. And I'm going to bring that into the corner. I'm going to dip into Burnt Orange and just put that towards my inner corner. And just blend those colors in. I'm going to use that same brush. I'm going to dip into Noir very lightly. Tap off excess. And I'm going to take this Noir very close to my lash line. So remember earlier I said it didn't matter if your eyeliner spilled out a little. Well, we're going to blend that eyeliner. So it's like that. I'm going to do my inner corner highlight. I'm going to use my Morphe M506 brush. And I'm going to dip into the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlight in the color Amrezy. Just dip that brush in there and just apply that to my inner corner. Just like that. And I'm going to just apply some bronzer. I'm going to use MAC bronzer in the color Bronze with my Morphe R7 brush, nice fluffy brush. So I'm not going for a really intense contour here just because the eyes are extremely dramatic. So I just want to keep the focus on the eyes and use the bronzer as just accent. Now that I have that complete, I'm going to finish off with my lips. I want to keep my lips really neutral, so I'm going to use MAC's lip liner in the color Stripdown. I'm going to line my lips and I'm going to fill in with Stripdown as well. I'm going to apply lipstick using Revlon's Brazilian Tan, which is like my tried and true neutral. I'm going to do a quick spritz of my face using Urban Decay's All Nighters setting spray. I like to apply my highlighter after my setting spray has been applied. Again, going into Amrezy using my Morphe M10 brush. I'm just going to sweep some of this highlight to the tops of my cheekbone. The setting spray just tends to bring this highlight out. It just intensifies it. So that's why I like to do it at this stage. I'm going to take a little bit of that on my finger and just put it down the bridge of my nose. And a little bit on the tip. So, took the clip out of my hair. I'm going to go apply lashes off camera and I'll be back. So I went ahead and I applied some dramatic lashes. I used the Ardell Wispies in the number 113. I also applied some mascara to my lower lash line. And I think this look has turned out really well. It's a dark smoky eye with a gentle gradation. And I used warm tone eyeshadows for my gradation, but you could use cool tone eyeshadows as well. If you like this video and you like this look, be sure to hit the thumbs up button below. And share this video with your friends, because they're going to want to know how to do this deep smoky eye as well. If you like me and you want to see more from me, please hit the subscribe button. And until next time, I'm sending love and light your way. Bye!